I'm about to teach you exactly how to get to this stage with a monster late game champion. So I'm against the Grandmaster earlygame, and I'm going to show you that if you can go against such lane bullies in a longer lane where safety is much further away, then you can for sure do the same in the mid lane. To survive lane, I start with a health item and runes that make laning easier. And I tell my jungler not to fight near me because in a 2v2, Urgot is twice as strong. I just need to survive, and I can only try fighting back if he overextends. Otherwise, all you need to do is safely last hit with skill 2, because it empowers your next basic attack and gives it range. And its cooldown is halved if you last hit with it, so it's perfect for farming. You will lose the early push, but the wave will eventually end up stopping close to your tower, which is perfect because it makes it a lot safer to farm and survive the early levels. But if it doesn't stop here, then you can just tank the minions for a few seconds until your wave arrives. And now they can no longer force fights against you without risking tower shots. So just play defensively and only short trade or fight back if they force a trade inside your wave. And because all of Kassadin's abilities are ranged, you can easily punish their last hits with your skill 3, the slow, and skill 2, empowered attack. The silence is a single target skill shot that can be blocked by minions, but it can work great if they jump onto you because it stops their combo for a second, giving you time to escape or fight back. Meanwhile, they are taking a longer fight inside your minion wave. And if you just play defensive and win a few trades, they will start panicking because they're supposed to be destroying this weak early game champion who will eventually become too strong to deal with. So they'll try forcing a fight, but you just sit back and throw out your range abilities. This is what throws everyone off. Kassadin's basic attacks may be melee, but all his abilities are ranged and none of them have a long cooldown. Right now, because of the health advantage, I can keep taking trades from range. And as you can see, I can keep the wave here and he'll keep losing the trades, so he has to reset. And in response, I can fast push so I can recall. But early game wave clear is Kassadin's weakness, so now if I back, he can freeze the lane and I will lose this entire wave. However, I can stay now to reset the wave because now I have ultimate, so I'm nowhere near as vulnerable. And now I was almost at my first item, so I stay for one more wave. I am still weak, so I need to employ the same tactic once again. Farm safely until he pushes the wave. This time I need to tank for a few seconds. And then now I can safely clear the next wave and recall for my first item. And I'm winning a lane that I should be losing just by counter-attacking with my range abilities and by controlling the wave. Now we encounter Kassadin's biggest weakness, starting from the first dragon all the way up until third dragon. Kassadin is one of the weakest champions in the game, because his first 2 items need time to scale up. Meanwhile, everyone else has items that give them instant power spikes, so he really should not be fighting unless he has to, which can be a problem in solo queue because teams would rather die than give up a dragon. even if they have a numbers disadvantage, or despite playing weak early game champions. You need to use this time to farm gold so you can get your item and level spike sooner, but you cannot completely abandon your team, so you will need to group up if you see a fight coming. So the silence works great against champions that like to dive in because it interrupts their combo and gives your team time to react. And it also works great as chain CC if you use it after someone else is engaged. And right now, even though my ultimate is fully charged for maximum damage, you need to discipline yourself and play safe because this is Kassadin's weakest stage. But I can ult Master Yi here for some damage because it's in a safe position, and then I stay back without cooldowns. Now they're on the back foot, so we can advance, and my ult is still fully charged, so I decide to sacrifice myself for my full burst onto the backline so my carries can hopefully clean up. But unfortunately my ult charges ran out just as I flashed. Samira also went back in, so I missed a lot, but despite all that it still worked out because their focus was on the two of us, which allowed Zeri to clean up. So you will get this kind of opportunity almost every game. If you don't, then you shouldn't ult into multiple targets. Not yet anyway. But late game, however, is another story, because then you will have enough damage by yourself to clean up their backline, or anyone that's low. And also your cooldowns will be much lower for a quick turnaround. As well as having stasis, which will keep you safe as you wait for your next combo. Then you can either ult to escape, or you can ult to chase further depending on the situation. However, I would say the most important tactic in the late game for Kassadin is to not be in vision, because if they have eyes on you, they will position for you, meaning you will not be able to use your ultimate on top of them for damage, which will significantly reduce your burst. But when they don't have eyes on you, they will more likely overextend or position against the champions that they do have eyes on, and that will make it easier for you to jump onto the right target. So your first thought should be to find a flank from a different angle. If that's not possible, then at least don't position right in front of them, where they'll be ready and positioned to fight back. So back to our game. Here's a macro tip. Always pay attention to death timers. Because Urgot is still dead, I'm safe to go clear a wave or two before he gets back to lane, so now I can complete my second item, which is perfect because tier stacks over twice as fast when you complete the item, meaning now I'm scaling at maximum speed. However, that doesn't mean that you're already strong, so you still need to fight from range, even if your teammate is dying, because your late game scaling is not a secret, meaning that they will prioritize you because of it. So in these fights you need to poke from range with basic abilities and save your ultimate for when they turn on you. Here I should have ulted back sooner to drag him further into the tower, but I didn't because I've built a habit of waiting for him to appear before ulting away, which is normally the right play. You should only be ulting in if you can finish off a target, because if you ult in and don't finish them, you will then be a sitting duck with no damage, CC or mobility. I respawn and go for the closest gold available, which is mid lane, and hopefully a tower. I check top lane and rotate for a possible play, but now I need to stay back. Another tip, silence into slow is a quick burst combo you can use, which works really well on champions that walk into you because the silence stops them from casting abilities, and the slow prevents them from chasing you, and then you can just ult away if you need to, or if it's safe, ult in for damage. But if the ult isn't enough damage to finish them, then save your ultimate and space close enough to them for when your other abilities cool down. I don't really want to take a fair fight because I'm still powering up. I see Akali is low mid lane as well as a tower, so I rotate before Yi, get her flash and then just wait for the minion wave to arrive. But Akali sticks around and I have enough mobility and burst to finish her off. And now during the ult cooldown, I need to be on dodging duty. Then get saved by my Shen. And now with 2 points in my ultimate, its cooldown is enough to escape almost any fight, and it will only get stronger. Another macro tip. Their map movements will of course reveal their next move, which is mid tower. And the death timers show that we're at a numbers disadvantage. We're also still weaker in a fair fight, so I give up mid tower to take bot tower, rather than trying to defend it and possibly dying in the process. I can take the tower despite Urgot being here because of my ultimate, and now I can afford stasis, which gives me a chance to ult in aggressively into fights. Here I could clear bot, but dragon is almost up, and if I'm late, my team will contest it despite the numbers disadvantage. And that's just the way of solo queue. So I drop the wave and stay with the team. I try pinging them away because I don't really want to force a fight. But for some reason they arrive late, and then Nautilus engages. I poke with my burst and then get back as I wait for my cooldowns. Seraphine counter engages, which hits the AD carry, so I ult to finish her off. Meanwhile, their assassins jump onto my backline and finish them off. The only reason I went in is because I can stasis while my abilities are on cooldown. I try ulting Urgot, but he flashes, so I finish Nautilus with silence and then turn on Urgot with ignite. But we lose the team fight because we didn't focus Master Yi, so he ends up killing everyone with his resets. Now all I can do is just poke and ult away, and I should be safe as long as I just keep ulting away, but I got greedy for some more poke, and then I blundered by misclicking the flash in the wrong direction. So now Yi is by far the strongest in the game, and he also built magic resist, so fighting him isn't really an option at this point. I respawn and need a bit more gold for my first real power spike, which is Death Cap. I have vision which Master Yi wasn't aware of, so it allowed me to back away if he came towards me. But still, he's fast enough with ult to get in range before my next ult, so I buy myself some time with silence. But I didn't react in time to change my action because we could have turned on him with Shen. A bit risky, but it could have worked. Then I try flanking mid lane from the side, and because I was looking at the map, I go for a risky play. I saw Nautilus tried and failed his engage, and since he's the only CC, I can ult in for some poke and slow, so my team can hopefully follow up, and they do. Seraphine lands her ult, and now they're on the back foot because Master Yi wasted his ult on me earlier. So I ignite him early and just chase him down. Next, we make a typical solo queue mistake. Me and Seraphine ping Baron, but Zeri and Zoe go for mid inhib. Either one would have worked if we were all on the same page. And our Seraphine cannot live with the shame of her decision.
Executed.
Now I have my first power spike with Death Cap. My carries get caught by Nautilus engage, so again I need to go into survival mode. I try hiding out of vision, hoping they walk into me so I could poke, but they backed off. This is another player you should always be looking for when being chased. Just step out of vision and try making them walk into your silence and slow, and if they're low enough, you can then keep yourself positioned close enough for the next round of cooldowns and then go for the kill. It didn't work this time for me, but Seraphine has a much longer range, so she can still counter-engage. But it's still 3 versus 4, and Shen goes in with no way out and gives Master Yi a reset. I silence before he can blink again. Then I should have ulted into him for the damage to finish him off, but I was in a defensive mindset. And again, I could have ulted to kill Yi, but I also would have died to Urgot. Ward to check for ambush, but he went to finish the tower, thinking I had based, but I go from out of vision and surprise attack. So in the late game, if you have flash or stasis, then you can use your burst and then you can just flash away or stasis and wait for your cooldowns. But you cannot be greedy with these cooldowns. You will need to use them to avoid damage so you don't get one shot if you go back in, because they will always turn on you. When you ultimate in, just know that they're gonna throw their skill shots at you. So what you're gonna need to do is ult in and then sidestep ASAP. And during the times that you have no other cooldowns to get away, you're gonna need to be on dodging duty. So start dodging until you get your cooldowns back. I stay and farm as much as possible because 3 of them are dead and the other 2 have to reset. But I end up staying too long because dragon spawned, and you just know that your team would rather die than let the enemy team even sniff the dragon for a second. And so my mages get too close and get engaged on, and I wasn't close enough to really do anything. I waste my burst into the air and then need to back. I can't fully fight yet without my flash or stasis, especially with Master Yi there, so I'm forced to ult defensively, which I guess is the story of the game up until now. And from here, I'm trying to stay out of vision, so I go all the way around and just wait to see if one of them overextends. I ult over the wall to burst from range, but Zeri dashes too early and brings him right on top of me, so he automatically starts targeting me. Now I'm in no condition to fight, so I reset and I'm hopeful for the next fight because I'll have flash and stasis back up, which means I can ult in aggressively once again. So I go and try staying out of vision and look to catch someone overextended. The right way of doing this, by the way, is by using a sweeper. Because if you're on vision unknowingly, then you're the one that's gonna get assassinated instead. I wait here and look for a play and see a chance to finish off Akali because she just wasted her defensive ability. I see Zoe's sleep activating, so I silence on top of it and just wait for her to appear. And then here my flank gets warded, so now I need another angle. It's 4v5, so we get to control the jungle and threaten Baron, and hopefully get a pick if they walk into us. I try poking Yi, and then I should have delivered him to my team with flash, but I had PTSD from Yi, so I end up wasting my stasis. So we don't get anything, and now it's 5v5 again, and our side lanes are being pushed, so I go and ping my team. And I join back, hoping for a flank. And I see Master Yi engaging into my entire team. So here's my chance to get to the back line. But still, they all position for me. I ult on Samira, but she flashes away from the rest of my burst. and then I get CC'd. Meanwhile, Yi is solo killing my team. Now it would have been game over, so I just throw myself in, AoE burst, and flash away from Akali into my tower. And then this time, I finally ult back onto Master Yi to finish him, and end up saving the game.
You are dominating. Shut down.
Now I'm full build, and we can go for Elder because their team died later than ours, so we have time before they can respawn and get here. And if they try getting too close, I can now one-shot any one of their non-tanky champions. Then I ping my team to Baron because now it's 4v5 and we have Elder buff, so if they try fighting us for it, they will have to come into us, which is a much easier fight than fighting them at their Nexus tower. So now I can play as aggressive as I want with stasis, so I just chase Master Yi and force him to waste his ultimate, then look for a surprise ult over the wall, but Samira wind walls to block my silence, but still ends up getting slept, so now I can just ult into their tanks for poke, and just wait for Master Yi to come close enough so I can take him down and win the game from there. Thank you for watching and good luck.